Good morning, guys. In less than, well, not less than, probably 4 days and maybe 4 hours from now, let's say extend maintenance, we'll be getting one of the most wanted ships in all of Azur Lane, and that is Musashi. That being said, every single time we get a UR ship, I gotta make one of these videos, guys. We're talking about what I want from her kit and potential skills that she could have. Now, this time around, I'm going to be as realistic as possible. There won't be any crit buffs or crit buffers for this ship because it's not going to happen. Nor do I think she's going to get this, because what I truly believe Musashi is going to be good at is going to be damage. So that being said, let's get this started. So as always, every single UR ship that we've gotten so far, especially battleships, has gotten a 100% barrage. Now, this time around, the barrage I'm expecting has to at least fit her design. Design-wise, she has a sword, a tachi, I believe. And this tachi here is, everyone knows what a tachi is. Everyone loves using katana stuff. Demon slayers. I don't know. I play trails as well too. It's a really common weapon in Japanese culture, right? So, because this game loves Japanese being super OP, she's gonna have an OP barrage. Now, the barrage I'm expecting here is gonna be like this. On release, on volleys, Musashi's gonna swing her sword 3 times. And that 3 time is going to be split up. So if you want to think about it, think of it as like an area of effect, and it blows up and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So it starts off in the back line, it explodes, and it expands all the way across the field to the enemy side. It's going to be a full screen barrage. Yes, I know that's real copium right here, but it's going to be a full screen one. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to be a 3, right? And when it hits an enemy, not only does it do a lot of damage, but it gets weaker going to the next one. So this makes it so if you're doing mob clearing stuff, if it hits more than one enemy, it's not going to be as effective, but it's still going to hit multiple enemies. This keeps quote-unquote balance. But this also makes her a really good bosser, because bossing content, there's only one target. So if there's 3 slashes, all 3 hits, that's going to be full damage on that barrage, rather than having it split up when it's hitting multiple enemies. So I think that's going to be her barrage. Otherwise, if it's not going to be a full screen barrage, it's just going to be like a sword slash going straight. Now, I thought about this one as well too. It's kind of like the augments for Vanguards we have as of right now with the slashes. But the issue is, it's hard to make it so it's going to be hitting the targets that you want. Because if we do it on bossing content and it focuses on the boss, yes, it could hit. But then how would you balance that for mob content, right? If I balance it for mob content, I'll probably do like focuses the enemy closest, which could be okay, but it's kind of weird, but that could be okay. So that's what I expect from Musashi, from her barrage. I expect a triple slash going forward, and that slash does a lot of damage. I don't think it's going to be a debuff, because she's going to be a full out attacker. Nor do I think she's going to get any like crazy buffs from this slash, because the next part of her kit that I'm talking about is going to be her buff and her debuffs going into whatever she's really good at. And I hope it's going to be a boss exterminator for her kit. So next part is it's going to be a stacking self buff. Now, as of right now, I'm pretty sure none of our current UR battleships has like a stacking buff. But if you guys remember from Shinano has a permanent 3% damage taking on an enemy debuff. So whenever Shinano airstrikes, that enemy takes 3% more damage, up to 9% for the remainder of the fight. So the opposite of that would be a stacking self buff. Now, a stacking team buff is pretty ridiculous. I don't want that. I think that's too unbalanced. I'm gonna say that right now. But what I'm expecting is that every time she now does her slash barrages, she gains a stacking damage buff. Now, how strong this damage buff is going to be, who knows? To keep balance, I'd say it probably has to be somewhere between 5 to 7% every time she barrages. Now, here's the thing. The problem with this is that she's going to start off very, very like poorly on firepower, right? Because as of right now, New Jersey, if you look at New Jersey's kit, she has 10% firepower here and 15% more right here. So she has 25% firepower starting straight off the bat. Now, I'm all for starting off with a lot of firepower off the bat, and I really hope that including this stacking self buff, she has a self buff as well too at the baseline. So like maybe like a 10% firepower starter and then 5% stacking or 7% stacking up until 25 to 31% firepower. This will make it so not only does she have a lot of damage, but she also can stack up to a high amount of firepower as well too, which is what I really, really want. So if she can get that, that's great. Every time she barrages, she gets a permanent damage increase for the remainder of the fight. This will be opposite of Shinano, and it'll make Musashi unique to what her design is going to be. I know as of right now, a lot of boats in this game have a stacking buff, and that's what I'm expecting from Musashi as well too. So I'm pretty sure no battleships has a stacking. Well, no, I think there's a stacking from from SSR battleships or battle cruisers. But as of for URs, I don't see one as of right now. If they can pull this off, they could be really, really good. In terms of fairness, I'd say a 15 firepower at the start is a must for an all-out attacker. Keep it like a 15% baseline. And then every time she volleys, maybe a 5% increase for 3 or 4 stacks for the remainder of the fight. This makes it so she can go up to 30 to 35% firepower, which far exceeds what a lot of the current battleships can do as of right now, because New Jersey goes to 25. But it shouldn't be that easy, which comes to the next point in my predictions for skills, is that she's going to have a very slow reload. So what the slow reload does here is that it keeps Musashi in check, because if she's going to be an all-out attacker with her triple slashes and a stacking self buff, it has to be balanced. So what better way to balance it is than with a slow reload. With a slow reload, if you use a common battleship gun, she should volley every 27 to 28 seconds. So this makes it so not only is she difficult to work with, she could probably work with Helena pretty well, but this makes it so you can't stack that passive as fast. But if you do manage to get into a battle which exceeds that duration, then she could be really good. Now here's another issue. A lot of the current endgame bosses right now, like Arbiters and Meta fights, are 80 seconds to 90 seconds long. So if she volleys every 27 to 28 seconds, you're pretty much getting only 3 volleys off in the entire fight, right? Which is perfect to hit her max stacks. So that's good. And how I want Musashi to be is an executioner. So a lot of the ships in this game are just sustained DPS. Ulrich sustained DPS. New Jersey's kind of like an early burster with her first 10-second barrage. So what I want Musashi to be is an executioner. What this means is that as the duration of the fight gets longer, she gets stronger. So having her volley 3 times within those fights puts her so that the last volley should do the most amount of damage and should finish off the boss that you're facing. So if she volleys every 27-28 seconds, a meta fight is 80 seconds, so you gotta use a fast gun there, but it's still possible. That last volley should end the fight. On the third volley, that should end the fight, or that's what expected. And on Arbiter fights, you can definitely get 3 volleys in. That should also be the quote-unquote executioner. So that's what I'm expecting from her kit. She's going to have a very, very strong barrage. You can tell by the Tachi right here, there's going to be something related to just using this sword. If this sword does not get used in her barrage or any way possible, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. So I want this katana, this tachi, this sword to be used in her barrage. I'm expecting some sword slashes coming out from her barrage. I'm also expecting her to have a self buff, a stacking one, to be the opposite of Shinano, who's also a Yamato class ship. That's what I'm expecting as well too. And to keep everything in check, I want her to have a slow reload. Now, what this also does is that if you want to make her a full-out attacker, we're getting a new battleship gun soon. It's probably going to be a slow one. If you want to go just all-out attack, then you can definitely use that battleship gun. Or if you want to prioritize stacking that executioner buff, the self buff, much faster and getting out as much barrages as possible, then you want to use a fast gun, hence the 457 prototype gun. So this gives you options. You can go either fast stacking or just all out as much damage as possible with the upcoming UR gun. So not only does it give variety, it changes how you want to play your Musashi for certain content. So like, I want to make her a heavy hitter, run the slow one. I want to make her stack the buff as much as possible and barrage as much as possible. Then we use the 457. Variety. So that is what I'm expecting from Musashi's kit. No fleet buffs, no crit because that's copium for team. Yeah, that is what I'm expecting. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what her kit's going to be. The design is already looking great. Yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys are expecting from Musashi. If she's going to be not disappointing for sure. Definitely. Every single Japanese UR gacha shit we've gotten so far, Shinano and Shimakaze, have not been disappointing and have been a core slot in many, many contents in this game, specifically for endgame. So, that's what I'm expecting. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.